Hi everyone. Today in the episode 39 of the Quick Resume podcast, we've got many sales. Is the Xbox catching up to PlayStation after a long-winded generation? Stalker 2's been delayed. Is Redfall going to be delayed as well? You better listen. You better find out as we talk about all of this. I need more coffee.
I've got a double espresso on me now.
Jeez. Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for coming today. If you're new here or if you're a returning fan of the show, my name is Deck. That guy over there is Tim, and we're the Quick Resume podcast. Tim, it's been a big week, buddy. You might not know it, but it has been quite a big week in terms of news, and I'm very excited to get into it. But first and foremost, well-being check. How are we doing today? How's my big old buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just filling myself up with coffee currently, trying to get hype for the show. But apart from that, it's been pretty good. Standard old week. Nothing really to report on that side of things. Nothing too exciting. But gaming, we've spiced it up a little bit. We've thrown in some new things, and did we say last week we had officially started the Dark Souls rerun, or is that new to this week? I think we said we were going to do it last week, but we never actually started it.
I think so. Was that really? Have we really only played it this week? No, we've been playing it for.
Maybe we did talk about it last week. Either way, we've been carrying on with that a little bit because we're on the Elden Ring little hype train. And that's going great. We haven't played it in a couple of days, mainly because our brains and souls have been abducted by a 2D version of Dark Souls. That is Spelunky 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we were talking about that. That came to Games Pass last week, midway through last week.
It's the Dark Souls of spelunking games, I would say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the only one.
It
has a monopoly. Yeah. It has a monopoly in that area. But yeah, so we're big fans of the first game. We played that, which by the way we found out was it was such a long time ago.
Yeah, we found out on the show.
It was like 2008. Yeah. You say that's mental. Yeah, it's Xbox Live Arcade. I can't believe that.
XBLA.
I used to love Xbox Live Arcade, man. Yeah, XBLA was sick.
The crown jewel, Castle Crashers, sitting there at the top. Will there ever be a sequel?
Yeah. Who knows? Behemoth needs to sort that.
I wish that'd be so good.
Yeah, they make great games, man. Even like Pit People was really good. What else was really good from Behemoth? I never really got into Alien Hominid, but
what was the
obviously BattleBlock Theatre was really good.
Battle Theatre was great. Yeah, they tend to take a while because they do all like the hand drawn art, don't they?
Yeah, and then what was the other one that they did that we played a bit as well? Was Rascals Behemoth? No, Rascals wasn't Behemoth.
I can't think of that.
That was good fun though.
I can't think of another one. Pit People was the little hexagonal turn-based one, wasn't it? Yeah. Because they did do another. They did another Alien Hominid. That was their most recent one, but it's only come out on Steam. Yeah, a co-op run and gun game with chaos, mayhem, and a whole lot of explosions. So they did that.
Yeah.
But that I don't know when that was. So because it's weird because usually they have some affiliation with Xbox with their games. Like BattleBlock Theatre, I think only ever came out on Xbox. Pit People only ever came out on Xbox and Steam, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all like big XBLA titles and stuff like that. Yeah, they never dropped on PlayStation.
I'd be so hyped if they did a Castle Crashers too. I just feel like they're leaving so much money on the table. I know it's their prerogative and their creative direction, but man, I'd buy the shit out of a Castle Crashers too.
Oh yeah, same. And they're such a talented studio, and it's their big IP, really, isn't it?
I think so. It's their biggest.
I do get that a lot. Yeah, it's their biggest by far. Like I do get a lot of like developer studios. They like to branch away and not just be known for one hit wonders and do other things. I do understand that. But yeah, I'd eat up a Castle Crashers 2 like it was a 3-course
Oh,
meal.
do you know what, actually,
Um,
I think we should. I still want to play through Pit People with you because I really like what I played, but we just kept getting pulled away from it
yeah,
every time we tried to hop into it, and they've updated it loads.
we did.
So I
Yeah,
would like to play that at some point.
it is a good game. Yeah, yeah. We sunk a decent amount of time into it, a handful of hours maybe. But yeah, no, it was really good from what I played. But yeah, you're right. We just kept getting pulled away with other stuff. So, but I still recognise it as a good game, and it was one of the first ones that came to mind when we were talking about it.
Definitely.
But anyway, a little bit
Yeah.
sidetracked there. Either way, we've been playing Spelunky, Spelunky 2, and in all honesty, fantastic. But I did not realise how similar it really was to the first one.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is literally the same game. Like maybe some different levels and stuff, but like the items, I don't feel like I've seen anything new. Obviously the whole mechanic of like the shop and all that. I mean, there's new stuff like turkeys and mounts and all that kind of stuff. Like that's all new, but I didn't expect it to be literally that similar. Like I hopped into it and I just felt right at home, but I did expect some changes.
I mean,
guess.
apart from the fact that there's online co-op, and obviously,
and online co-op, yeah, of course, yeah, which is fantastic. My God, that game benefits so much from having an online co-op.
Surprisingly responsive as well. It's good, like good netcode.
Yeah. I haven't noticed any sort of issues with in that sort of regard, and oh mate, it's just fucking chaos. Like the more people, the more chaos as well. Which just makes it so funny.
Yeah.
We've genuinely, and I don't even exaggerate this, we've had breakdowns, multiple breakdowns since playing this game, and we only started it on like Wednesday or Thursday.
And it came out Thursday. Yeah.
Like it really is so fucking difficult. Yeah. It is mental. I've died in just the craziest ways that I couldn't even explain to you. Like it would take, you'd have to give me a pen and paper, and I'd have to draw it out for you, and just be like,
flowchart.
This is, yeah, like this somehow happened. Like everything kills you in that game, but it's great. It's great fun, and yeah, we've been enjoying.
Yeah, well, I definitely recommend it. I mean, I guess it probably would be pretty good solo as well, but obviously, I think a lot of the funniness comes from the chaos that ensues with playing co-op. So it's definitely getting a big recommendation from us. You know, I was crying. I was in stitches on like when we were playing on Thursday, just because it's so funny when like you lob a rock sets off a trap, it fires an arrow hits an enemy. The enemy runs into an NPC, and then the NPC runs around the map murdering you, and you're like, hello, what just happened? And like, man, and you can like just like friendly fire is on, and it's your worst enemy and your best friend at the same time, because like you can troll your friends, and you will troll your friends. Like you can't help yourself. You'll see them teetering on the edge of a cliff above some spikes, and a bulb will go off in your head, and you'll just whip them in.
You just have to. Yeah, but just everything kills you in that game. Everything. Nothing. You are never safe. Ever. And it's like, I've died in the craziest ways. Like, you accidentally throwing a rock, and it like bounces off a wall, and then hits like one of our friends in the head, and then one of our friends gets dazed, falls down a hole, and falls on top of me and kills me at the bottom. And I was not even a part of any of this. I couldn't see any of you, and a body just falls on me and kills me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, like, what just happened? And obviously everyone is just in state. We've had our mates have just been crying with laughter. Like some of them playing this for the first time.
Yeah.
We've been absolutely pissing ourselves. It's so funny. And then you occasionally just have those breakdowns where something so crazy happens. You have a full squad wipe so far into the run, and then everyone just spawns in. And you just need to get out of your systems. We all just start team killing in like just silence. just getting out.
Just tiny little people running around just whipping, like lobbing stones.
Yeah.
And then we all die, get back in, and we're like, okay, are we all good? We good? Yeah, okay, right. This is the run.
We good. Yeah, let's go. but yeah, it gets so much praise from me. It's everything I wanted and more, and yeah, it's a great little distraction from something like Halo, which I'm a bit burnt out on right now. So yes, yeah, have a lot of fun on that, and I think that's kind of basically it. I think that's kind of all I'll be playing this week, and I think yours will be fairly similar. But yeah,
Not true. Well, we did play Sea of Thieves,
how have you been?
so there's that.
Oh yeah, we did play Sea of Thieves. Yeah,
Where did that come from?
which was good. I always love. It was Ridge. It was our friend who actually suggested it. He was just like Sea of
All right.
Thieves, and he was just like, yeah, I've always kind of wanted to play it with you guys, and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, man. He's quite new to the game as well, but I think it's something that's always interested in, and obviously I'm always up for hopping on Sea of Thieves. It's something I always forget about, and then someone mentions it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta go for some Sea of Thieves. Like it's got everything in it. It's got the the tense situations, the chill moments, the funny moments. It's a game that does it all, really.
Yeah. As long as you're playing with the right
although
people.
the new, yeah, as long as you're playing with the right people. Yeah, we have a blood pact not to play with certain people. We won't go into that, but yeah, and we started the Pirates of the Caribbean story, the little Disney themed one, which was very very slow
so
starting.
slow.
We started it at like midnight or something. We all just hopped on. We're like, let's do some Sea of Thieves, and then we were like, oh, this would be like a tall tale, just like all the others. And my God, you were literally just like walking in a line, going from point A to B, listening to dialogue for like over an hour.
It was just like an hour of exposition. Like, we went through like some pretty environments and stuff, and like it was the storytelling was kind of cool, but like it was just too slow. It was made worse by the fact that we like booted it up at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock even. Like, we were kind of sleepy. We were kind of like burnt out on Splunk, and be like, let's just play something chill. And after half an hour, everyone was just like we met. I can't even remember how it ended. Like, there was like a bit of a fight, wasn't there, on the ship, and then that was it. We were like, shall we log off? Maybe do this another time, because it's just way too
But then we found that cool like new like mermaid den thing, didn't we? And then we just dove into that like underwater and did that for like 45 minutes. Like
that was kind of fun.
We were all gonna go off. Yeah, and then we were just like, this is just what we should have done. We should have just hopped in the world and just got some loot and some treasure, and that's what we did last night. That like we didn't do any tall tales or that, and we just hopped in, picked up some quests, went to a few islands, we found a sloop, we started hunting them. Turned out they
outplayed us.
Probably shouldn't have done that, and it was so much more fun. And we still banked like a haul of like 30 grand as well, and bought some stuff. And but Sea of Thieves is always great fun.
Yeah, no, it was. I agree. It was way better when we just went into the open world, and it's kind of what I've always said about Sea of Thieves. I'm glad they added like the tall tales, because they are fun. I mean, I think the Pirates of Life is kind of its own thing. I don't know if it technically. I think it is like a series of tall tales, isn't it? It's like 5, like a self-contained kind of thing. That one was way too slow, but the other ones haven't really had that problem. But like I've always said about Sea of Thieves, that I think all of the focus just needs to be to like keep injecting stuff into like the open world and how that operates, and all the they describe it as like emergent gameplay. So when you're going from point A to point B, shit happens, and you go, oh, let's go there, oh, let's go here, and that's like so much richer now. It's richer year on year, you know what I mean? Like, compared to last year, it was good last year because you'd stumble into like the volcanic place. I mean, that was like year 1 even, but you know what I mean? And then there would be like the twirly things, and then the skelly ships. I can't remember what the twirly things are. Have you seen that? Do you know what I mean? On the horizon, they're like little fucking sugar sticks.
We did go to one once. I forgot what they are. But yeah, we did go there once.
Is it just an island? Is it just on an island? Is it like a boss on an island? I can't remember.
It's something like that, but yeah, I mean, just the amount of stuff in that game now is crazy. Like, I remember we always complained that there wasn't that much in it. It had so much potential, but now there's just, oh my God, there's just so much stuff. You could be sailing. There's a skelly ship there. There's a megalodon there. Oh, the rare chance you might run into a kraken. Oh, we'll go do that mermaid thing down there. Oh, there's a sunken ship there. Oh, there's like, what's that, Skull Island there? Like, there's literally just an insane amount of stuff now, to the point where it's just like nah, CPA with
Yeah.
that. You know, there's actually too much stuff that sometimes you just chin it off to go actually do a
Yeah,
quest or
yeah,
something. Where it was like the complete polar opposite earlier in the game's life cycle.
definitely.
Um, yeah,
And
it's
it's
good.
become like,
Yeah, it's
it's
really
like,
good.
they've added all of these, like, they've made the progression a lot more like explicit, in the sense that obviously there's like the battle pass. You probably didn't even look at it, because if you open your menu, it's scary. Like if you go on like the quest bit, you're
Mm,
like, what is this? Like, oh, this is scary, because there's like seasonal quests and
yeah,
challenges, and you'll see, it pops up just randomly. Like you will kill it, and it'll be
yeah,
like, seasonal challenge complete, kill 5 and 5 skeleton, and there's like 5 tiers, and it goes up to kill 100 or something. But every time you complete a challenge, stuff just gets injected straight into your wallet. Like it just pops up and says plus.
yeah,
And so like there's this constant like drip feed now, whereas like OG Sea of Thieves, your payouts were like only from getting your ship back to shore and dunking all of your gold. And obviously that whole process is rewarding, but it was annoying that you couldn't just log in and have a small play session and come out with something. Whereas now
yeah,
you
yeah,
could
exactly.
go off,
Yeah,
get a load of treasure, get sunk by someone else, get stolen, but you're still like, well, at least we got some doubloons, and at least we made some seasonal
yeah,
progress and still got some gold anyway. So it takes the sting out of those sorts of things. But yeah, man, this even like
yeah.
we did. What did we do? We literally went to the. We did. Did we even finish it? I don't think we even finished it. We did one gold hoarders quest, got 2 maps,
Yeah.
went to one island, and on that island, may I add, there were obviously like the chests and everything there. There was like just thinking about what was new. There was like the new Pirates Life enemies, so like the crab heads, the big boys. There were like ghosts
Yeah.
as well, which I haven't seen before.
I don't remember
They
seeing
were
the
like, yeah, they were
ghosts.
like ghosts. They were like pirates. They're like NPCs, but they were like all blue and spooky. And they just like, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there was a way to fight them. We ended up just chopping them down, but like maybe you can use like the lantern. Don't know.
Okay. I never saw those. That must have just been you and that
Yeah,
friend.
there was like ammo pouches were getting dropped on the floor, so presumably, so like you can
Mm.
constantly top up your ammo. Like
Yeah.
bits of chicken were everywhere. I don't know if that had something to do with us or if it was just an island thing. They're just like drumsticks lying around. Uh,
Yeah, it might have just been like um NPCs and stuff. Not NPCs, but just like enemies killing the wildlife and stuff like that. I think there might have been chickens there
yeah, yeah,
previously.
yeah.
But yeah,
So we
yeah,
did all of that.
chicken
Got all of
everywhere.
that, and obviously we got like there were like fireworks as well. I'm just trying to pinpoint like all the stuff that we saw that were new. Um,
Yeah, I bought the cannon effect, the new cannon effect. That
yeah,
was kind
that's
of
right.
cool.
And then after that, we
Um,
went. We were going to. I think we were just going to go to the next island, but we got sidetracked by the sloop and lost. And
yeah,
then eventually we were like, "Oh, look, there's a
yeah,
mermaid thing." And I think this was the newest thing in the update, which is so cool. Like the big swirly blue things.
it's
You
really
dive
cool.
down really far, and it's this like really wicked like bit of like coral like land, and you've got to find your way into it like an air pocket, and then it's like full of puzzles. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a good old
so
time.
colorful. Like it's like really really colorful in there and really nice. And yeah, the puzzles are cool. Um, nothing absolutely squeeze your brain difficult, but um, satisfying enough. You get a decent amount of loot from them. And yeah, yeah, no, yeah, they are really good additions. Yeah, and then we killed a skelly ship, and then we just found that we had like 50 things on our ship, and we were just like, okay, let's just go bank this now. Especially after the failed attempt at taking out a sloop, which was embarrassing. But they were gamers,
They were
so
real gamers.
they were gamers. I kind of knew it the moment I saw them going away from us, and they could have gone in any direction, but they chose to sail into the
Yeah,
wind. And I was just like, these guys are gamers, because like sloops are faster into
yeah,
wind, and they knew that was their best bet. And I was like, not many other people would do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. And it's like I'm trying to like rank my brain of like all the systems, not the systems, like the factions and stuff in the game, because there's like obviously there's the 3 main ones, like the Gold Hoarders, the Order of Souls, and the Merchant Alliance. But then they've since added a lot. There's like the Hunter's Call for like the fishing and slaying, I think it was.
yeah.
Like you can bring like shark meat back, or I can't remember. Maybe that's a different.
Yeah, just anything. I think you can just anything from the ocean. I think you can sell him like cooked kraken and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
but there are different outposts,
but
obviously, as well.
yeah,
And then there's like the Hunter's Call. I don't even know how that faction works. I know because they're on their own island, and they've got like what did I call them? No, they're like Reapers. Reapers? Reapers Alliance? I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah, but that's you have to get. Oh, that's what you've done it. That's what the swirly thing is. The candy swirl thing. It's for a Reaper's chest.
Oh, and it
And
shows
then
you into
you
the sky.
and then you get that Reaper chest, yeah. But then you have to deliver that Reaper chest to that specific NPC, like sitting on an island by
Yeah.
themselves. And obviously, you have that swirly thing on your ship when you have the Reaper's chest on
Yeah,
you,
that's
so
right.
everyone can see it traveling. But they give like 20k or something
Yeah,
like that. But it's just one chest, I
that's
think.
right.
That's what the swirly thing
That's
is.
right. And then there's the arena faction as well. Can't remember what that's called. But obviously arenas and that's not
Yeah.
being supported anymore. I'm sure there's still a dedicated player base who play it, but that's kind of is what it is. And I think there's another one, but I really can't remember. But just in terms of like the sheer breadth of like factions now, that there are a lot, and that's not even including stuff like challenges in your seasonal log, the updates to the I know there's quite a few different types of quests in the gold hoarders now. Like there was when I was picking the quests from the gold when I just picked a box standard like treasure map one, but I saw there was a different type of one and it looked like a puzzle room. I think we did it before, when you go into one of the caves and like the water fills up and you've got to figure out what you're doing.
Oh
That's
yeah,
like a type
yeah, yeah.
of quest now, like for the gold hoarders. And
Oh
yeah,
really? That's
yeah. So,
cool.
so I think and I don't know about Order of Souls, like because obviously before it's just like kill skeletons. And I don't know if that's been updated. I know the Merchant Alliance
Well,
has been like reworked.
there might be stuff with like the Order of Souls with the new enemy types now, like the crab
Maybe.
people and all that sort of thing. Like hunt one of them down and bring back a claw.
Yeah.
Bring back its claw.
Right. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that they've really like worked on the quality of those quests as well, because I think Sea of Thieves, I think it generally does a good job. It's very engaging when like you are trying to do those puzzles. I think for the most part, especially because there are quite a lot of them, so you're like hopping between one type of puzzle and then another type of puzzle. Yeah, it's good, man. Like the sheer amount in it is just crazy. You can really get lost on a run very easily and have a good time. I think it still really needs more combat options, like on foot combat options, and yeah. Yeah. I think that's really it. I think they've done a good job with like adding throwables and stuff. But
Yeah, I was about to say that adds a bit of spice to combat now, which we found out just how OP they actually are the other day. Like they're crazy. Like you can carry so many on you, like 10 maybe, or is it 5? I don't know. But someone just boarded our ship and just started lobbing them at us, blowed us all off the ship, was making holes in our ship as well. We were like, this is insane. The man never whipped out a sword or a gun, and he like just wiped
yeah,
us. It's like Jesus.
yeah,
But yeah, that kind of adds some spice to the combat. But yeah, I kind of agree. But I think maybe they've just gotten to the point where they're just like, we're not a combat game. Combat very much comes fifth priority to
yeah,
so many other things in our
definitely,
game. We're exploration, we're storytelling, we're like scenery, role playing. All of that comes before combat in their eyes.
definitely.
So I don't think it's actually that high on their list
Yeah,
to do stuff like that, which is fine with me. But
yeah. No, I
yeah,
agree, and there are some things they've done here and there as well. Like you can find weapons in the wild, like the mermaid staffs, for example. And I've told you about
they were
that.
cool.
There are like these big on some islands. I don't know how you. I think it's on some of the ashen. Like there are some islands that have ashen skeletons with a little red mist around them, and that's how you get a key to open those
Hmm.
chests that we found yesterday. I think, and
Yeah,
sometimes big
yeah,
boys come out and they breathe fire at you. And I think I've told you this before, but you kill them and they drop like a flamethrower skull, and that's so it's like it's like another emergent
yes,
weapon that you can use. I think you can also sell that skull, but yeah. So I think that is a good way. That's like a good. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that you can find these weapons that can be quite powerful out in the wild, and then you can use them like for exploration, for PVE, for PvP. I think that's a good way to
yeah.
remedy it without adding like another weapon. Here's an assault rifle. Here's a carbine to use.
M16, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the staffs are really cool. Yeah, I was actually using one. I never actually used one in against like a PvP player, but I remember I was like underwater with it and like fully charged it, and like sharks were charging at me, and I killed like 3 or 4 sharks at once, just completely just
Yeah, they're
wiped them
good.
in like one shot, and I was like, this
Yeah,
is OP. Like I would be dead if I didn't have
yeah,
this. My blunderbuss and sword wouldn't have done.
yeah.
So yeah,
And the
it's cool.
mermaids, of course.
Yeah,
that's new as well. But yeah,
yeah. New enemy types, which is spooky, by
they
the
are.
way. Like they're so evil.
They are spooky.
they're really fucking evil. But yeah, that is great fun. And I'm kind of glad we went back on it because it's kind of rekindled my love for it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying at the same time because there is just so much coming out soon and so much going on.
Yeah.
So it's just so many games.
Yeah, I'm happy to play it a bit. Like I said, I think the game's at its best when you like kind of have like set yourself a goal because of like the progression thing. You know, it's one of the things that absolutely kills the game for one of our friends. He's just like he can't stand that he can't upgrade his sniper to like an epic version with improved handling and accuracy. And so I think the game is at its best when like you're like, okay, I want us to all get fully decked out cracking gear, full instruments, full clothes, and like that's the goal. And so like now you have like that additional motivation to be like, let's get all this gold. Because sometimes you get all that gold and you're just browsing around the shop and you're like, that's kind of cool, I guess. Very expensive, and like you just kind of like leave it. I'll save it, and you don't end up doing anything with it. And I think that can ruin like the loop a little bit. But I think that's what can be good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So I suppose what I want to touch on this as well, and I'll make this short and snappy because I played and completed the Outer Wilds DLC this week. I've been playing it for like the last week or two. I don't know. And if you're not aware, it's come back to Games Pass. It used to be in Games Pass. Presumably, it's come back so that people will buy the DLC because the DLC came out, I think, like a couple months ago. So I bought it. I did it. I'm a number to them, buying on the upsell for the DLC. But I obviously don't regret it because Outer Wilds is one of my favorite games ever. Echoes of the Eye, really briefly, without spoiling, is really good. It's not quite as good as the base game. It doesn't quite come together as well, but the sort of storytelling and the puzzle design and the environment design is still like S tier. It just doesn't. The story threads don't come together quite as nicely as everything did in the base game. But the fact this is like an indie team and they've made, to me, like the base game being like a 10 out of 10, and this is probably like a 9 out of 10. The fact that they even came close again is absolutely absurd. With a DLC which has no right existing. Like when I saw this get announced, I was like, this really doesn't need a DLC because it's such a self-contained experience, and like everything that the message of the whole game is so nicely contained within that package. But actually, it works really nicely as a bit of an addendum, and it doesn't take away from the base game at all. And it's really very, very good. This is like an incredible development team. Like absolutely unbelievable that they came this close to perfection a second time. Yes, really, really good. Totally recommend it for like only 12 quid. Definitely play the base game if you haven't already.
Nice. Yeah, nice short summary on the Outer Wilds.
Thanks, man.
You've been raving on about this game for ages, and how good it is, and you've managed to convince one of our friends in our group to play it, and he is having a good time.
He's completed it now.
I'm sure one day you'll convince me. Yeah, he has completed it. Yeah. I'm sure one day you'll convince me, because I'm sure it is very good. But it's not too high on my list.
Yeah, no. Makes sense. And it's not for everyone either. It's still ultimately like an indie puzzle game. It's got a really unique twist, but like ultimately, like that isn't for everyone. So, I think it probably took me like 12 hours to complete the first time round. So it's not hyper short either. Yeah, that's Outer Wilds as well. Next up. I just wanted to touch on, just in terms of news for me this week, I just got my 4th Elite controller, Series 2. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Not on purpose. Well, I mean, on purpose, but not out of choice. Because the right bumper, once again, has started to become unresponsive. So with that insurance that I got through Amazon 2 years ago, I'm bleeding them dry. They fucked up by letting me buy that. So I've got a brand new crispy controller. My old one is in that box right there, ready to go back. But man, it's getting a bit tiresome. It's like on the dot 6 months. The bumper will be like gets dodgy.
They're so good, but so poorly designed in terms of
Just durability,
like longevity and durability. Oh my god, my controller is in shambles.
It is.
Like, just my right bumper doesn't work, my left bumper doesn't work, my stick drift is insane, my Y button started to stop working, my right trigger sometimes gets stuck. Mate, it's literally like it's only like 20% functionable at the moment. And I feel like I am just going to bite the bullet and try something else just for the sake of like our friend group and just like science. I think I might just buy like one of the what was the one we suggested ages ago? Was it Scuff?
I think it was.
Or was
I
it
think it
something
was
else?
Scuff. Yeah.
I think I might just try one of those, and like I'm sure it's not going to be too bad. And it's like it's just good to know as well. Like, you know, I can tell you guys, yeah, we should buy these ones for the future, you know, until Elite get their shit together and actually make like a durable controller. Maybe these are worth our money for now, rather than just buying another Elite to then, or I could just buy an Elite and get insurance. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how far off the next series of Elite is. I would imagine it's still fairly far off. So
yeah.
I don't know. I have a decision to make because this doesn't work. Like, my controller just does not work, and I need to buy something
Yeah.
new.
That's the thing.
So,
It wouldn't be so annoying if the controller wasn't so good. And that's the annoying thing. Like, I wouldn't keep getting it replaced if it wasn't so good, but it's just that it breaks down and like it, you know, it doesn't fully break. It's just like there's just slight wear and tear that kicks in after an amount of time. And it shouldn't. You know, they should know that the sort of person that's buying this controller is somebody who uses it a lot, and it should be more durable. But you know, the thing is, I think it's a design problem because all of the controllers, all of these Xbox One controllers have this problem. I think you probably see more reports of it happening in Elite controllers because, like I said, the person who's more likely to buy an Elite controller is more likely to use it more, so you see more breakdowns on it. But yeah, that's the thing. I've considered like trying something different, but I just love how it feels, and like my brain has wired to how the paddles are, and Scuff controllers do their paddles differently, like they do them vertically, and it's like, am I really going to have to try and relearn all of that? So for now, I'm kind of happy. I'll see if I can renew some insurance on it maybe at the end, but I think that's just what I'm going to have to keep doing for now. But it's so annoying. It really is annoying. It makes it hard to recommend.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, I recommend it, and I'm like, yeah, you guys should totally get this. But then I'm like, but just get the insurance and like just know that you're only going to enjoy it for like 6 months before you have to replace it. And it's like, it's not really a recommendation. I don't know. It's in such a weird place. Like, they don't need to change anything design wise, how it feels and everything. They just need to sort the bumpers out and the durability on the bumpers.
That's it.
It's just, oh my god, it's so bad. It's like, it's not even the triggers, and the triggers get used a lot more than the bumpers. The triggers are fine. They never get any wear and tear or any issues. It's just bumpers. Like, oh my god. They're so
and
poor.
it's, you know, even worse because on the first Elite controller you could take it apart and replace the bumpers, and I did that because it's the same problem, but in one of the other problems with the first Elite controller is that the rubber wrap would start to peel off after a lot of use, and that was pretty bad. To be fair, that was pretty horrible. At one point I had duct tape wrapped around my controller. Like, that's just dumb. But in this one, they've made these really nice rubber wraps around it. It's like fixed to the controller, which is lovely. No problems with it at all. It doesn't move. But the bumper is still a problem. But because the rubber's wrapped around it, you can't take it apart. So you can't take the thing out and replace it. So, you know, it's just silly. It's silly Billy. That's what I would say.
Yeah. But yeah, long story short, Elites are great. Buy insurance.
Literally. Yeah, okay. I wanted to touch on this just very, very quickly. I assume we'll get a Games Pass update maybe next week, but Nobody Save the World. Nobody Saves the World comes out, I think, this week, and I'm like really quickly trying to look online to see the date. I think it's like the 18th it comes out, which would make it Tuesday, which sounds right, but for some reason I'm not having a release date show up. Like when I'm Googling it, it's really annoying me. But I wouldn't have put it down in my notes if that wasn't true. So I think that's due to come out this week on the 18th. For those who aren't aware,
Yeah, 18.
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think this game looks really good. I think this game is going to be actually really, really good. This is from Drinkbox Studios. Yeah, the same team who did like Guacameles, both of them, which are obviously really good, like indie sort of beat 'em ups. One of our friends picked this on our Fantasy Critic, and I'm really annoyed about it because they don't know what this game is. Like, I had banked on this as like, this is a free 80. I know the pedigree of the studio. I know the quality of the games they make. This is easy. And then someone picked it, and I was like, you don't even know what that is, do you? You just saw it on the top games list and picked it. So I guess I'm not picking that anymore. But I think this is going to be really good. I don't know if you've seen any gameplay of it, but it looks really fun.
I have seen some, yeah, and it does look great. I love the style as well. Like, it looks great. And yeah, like you said, they've got a great pedigree. They do make good games. We've enjoyed their previous games as well. So, yeah, it does look pretty cool, man. And what you said, that's launching straight into Games Pass, did you say? Or is it?
Oh, actually,
did you mention Games Pass?
I did say Games Pass, but now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like they would have put it in the Games Pass thing that we spoke about last week, and maybe they didn't. So maybe it isn't.
I'll have a look.
I'm now thinking that maybe it isn't, but
Nobody Saves the World Games Pass. But yeah, no, it does look pretty cool, and it definitely is worth a mention just to get it out there. Because I'm not sure if it is one of those games which might just fly under a lot of people's radar if they're not actually made aware of it. So, us being the huge podcast we are,
massive. Yeah, we have quite a bit
really
of
getting
influence.
the world out for that. Yeah. We're going to get it at least maybe one extra download.
And Xbox are marketing it quite hard. It looks like it is launching day one Games Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say I've read something and saying it's launching day one Games Pass. Cool.
Great.
There you go. Don't even need to buy it. Coming straight into Games Pass. It looks really fucking fun. It's just single player, right? Or has it got any multiplayer co-op elements to it?
I think it had. Oh my god! You don't have to save the world online. Not only does the game have online co-op, but the game is crossplay. I just thought this was single player. Turns out it's co-op.
There you go. Yeah, I'm definitely getting like a sort of combined. I'm getting like Guacamole feels mixed with like Death Spank sort of like feels.
Actually, you know what I mean? Of Behemoth, this looks like kind of like a Behemoth game. Do you know what I mean?
It does.
Like this hand-drawn style with like that looks fucking.
But just that sort of over the top like world, almost like over the top view on like a world sort of RPG element gives me that sort of like Death Spank vibe.
Oh, cool! I had no idea this was co-op. We'll have to play this. It looks by the looks of it, it's only 2-player co-op from what I'm seeing, but this looks fun, man.
Another game to play. God damn it!
It's so hard.
Being burdened by game releases.
It's hard to be us. It really is.
It's just really not okay.
Fuck. Okay, right. Let's. And the last bit of news, but I guess before we get into the news, is Eurogamer, which we have attended before. I think 2 or 3 times now, haven't we? It's back in Birmingham here in the UK. It flits between UK and Birmingham and London. I live in Birmingham, so you know what that means. The boys do be hitting up Eurogamer, so we're going to be there, hopefully. So I'm sure we'll have something to talk about. That'll be sort of at the beginning of March. So
we're actually doing a live show there as well. So if you guys want to come say hi, get something signed, no, we're not.
Yeah. No,
we're just attending it as regular nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, bring your babies. We'll sign them as well.
Only babies. I don't want to sign anything else.
Don't bring your Xbox.
I only sign babies.
It's a specialty of
But
mine.
yeah. We've done Eurogamer in the past a few times. It's great fun. I don't know if any of you listening have experienced a sort of gaming convention like that.
They're
But
stinky.
they are really good fun. It's stinky. It does smell like
Smell like nerd.
it does smell like nerd. It does smell like nerd. Yeah. But yeah, no, they are great fun. They're good days out, and then obviously we just combine it with just hanging out as well. So we sort of just like spend the evenings just like drinking and hanging out afterwards because they're only like day things, like day passes. But yeah, so we'll be attending that again. And I was just saying to you before the show, actually, is it's in a really weird place where, because it's happening like early March, so like quite a lot of releases and stuff we're looking forward to would have already sort of happened by then. And I'm wondering like what will be playable or shown there or anything like that. It could be a bit of a weird one, but I'm sure there'll be stuff.
Yeah, I can't really pinpoint what I think is going to be there, to be honest. But yeah, like you said, I'm sure there's just stuff that I'm not going through my head.
Yeah, I mean, we played like loads of indie games and stuff like that when we last went there. Like that was a really cool attraction for us. I always remember there was this really cool indie game we played that was like
The
music
beat one,
based.
yeah.
It was like that. Yeah, that was really cool. And I don't know what happened to that. Is that game released or has it been delayed?
I think I did like see that, like a couple of months ago. I think I saw it somewhere, like coming up to like a full release. I think by the sounds of it, it had been like delayed like a lot. But I can't remember. It might have only been a Steam release. I know we played it on controller, didn't we? But I think it was like through Steam, controller support through Steam. So yeah, I can't remember. I have like the card for it somewhere, like because he gave us a little indie card. Yeah, I really can't remember. Yeah, it was cool. It was like a music, like co-op, like beat. I don't really know how to describe it. Like a hack and slasher, I guess.
Yeah, hack and slash, beat 'em up sort of thing.
It was cool, man.
Yeah, no, it had a really cool like vibe to it.
Yeah, the indies might carry it, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right, getting into the news for this week. There is a fair few bits and bobs, and to start off the week, Take-Two announced that they're acquiring Zynga for $12.7 billion.
Mate, that's a bargain.
That's an absolute bargain.
Like,
everybody knows Zynga. Everybody plays Zynga games.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know Zynga, though, can you tell the viewers who Zynga are?
Of course. Well, I mean, unless you're, in case you're unfamiliar, they've made very popular games such as Toon Blast and Star Wars Hunters, mobile games. I'm talking mobile games here. And there's something else there that I can't quite read. Takeaway being that it's all mobile stuff, and I don't really know. I know the audience that listens to this podcast and us is probably flinching at the idea of like mobile gaming, as we are as well. It's not really for us, which is what kind of baffles me about this acquisition.
It's just massive in Japan though. Like mobile gaming, like far beats out PC gaming and console gaming, like combined. I think.
I mean, it's big here as well. I think it's kind of like an invisible audience in that we don't talk about it much, we don't see it much, because loads of the casual audience will hop in and play like 2 hours of a mobile game. Maybe. The outreach is just further. Mobile reach gets to people that console gaming never would. So or PC gaming. So I guess there's that, but that is a lot of money. Like Take-Two are
so much.
Are Take-Two that big? Like that's
apparently. I felt like Xbox acquiring Bethesda for $10 billion was fucking ridiculous. Was it 10 billion?
7.5.
7.5 billion. Like this is almost double that. That's fucking crazy.
I don't know. This just doesn't strike me. Of course, I'm a dumbass and know nothing about like business. This doesn't strike me as a good deal. I know somebody's crunched the numbers, but I know I'm not the only one that thinks this because I was looking through like the reactions to this and its stock tanked. Like Take-Two stock tanked. It's already, and that's the thing. I wouldn't be saying this if the confidence in Take-Two wasn't already quite low, because they haven't been able to do much with Grand Theft Auto. Obviously Rockstar. They take like a decade between releases. They had Red Dead 2, which was obviously a huge success. Red Dead Online, however, has been a bit iffy. I know that it has like a dedicated fan base, and it's kind of its own thing. But again, like that was a few years ago. There's no signs of their next game, and then they do. I know there's like NBA because they have a. How do they? Because I can see Borderlands is here as well. Is it 2K? Is 2K beneath them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, 2K, Rockstar, and Private Division. So they've got a number of like big publishers beneath them, but like that, I don't know. It's not like they've been overperforming, Like 2K, I guess, makes decent money with NBA on like a regular basis. I guess the Borderlands games like are still doing well. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it.
It's weird. It's a stupendous amount of money. But like you said, I guess in this scenario with just the small brains, right? Like nobody just crunches, and deals like this take such a long time. And I'm sure they've thought about it and the future and how it's going to affect them and why they're doing it. And they came to a figure and apparently thought that 13 billion was reasonable.
Yeah, I mean
so I'd like to think they know what they're doing.
That's it. That's I guess how I would summarize it. That it's like for a company that's struggling to put out games on the console and PC side to like assist a consistent quantity and quality, to then go ahead and spend 13 billion on mobile gaming is like why is that money not going to what, it's not like it can be what it's one has to be one or the other, it's not mutually exclusive, but it just like comes off as a bit like, what's the direction here? It almost seems like, okay, console gaming is, we're really fucking this up, so we need to be shifting to mobile game because that's the easy way out. And that's like, I think ultimately a lot of what gamers are concerned about, that a lot of publishers or developers will move to mobile because it's easy. It's obviously it's not, but it's like it goes into like slot machine gaming rather than, or like gacha gaming rather than like actual interactive experiences. So, and that's what this strikes me as. It strikes me as Take-Two has been underperforming for about 5 years now. That's reflected by their shares and their stocks, and now they're like, okay, we need to make a big play. This is the big play, and I reckon that's also why Zynga was so expensive. I reckon Zynga is not worth this much. I reckon, but because Zynga are in a position, like a more stable position than Take-Two are, they've just bargained upwards.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
So I think they're giving themselves a bit of a safety net.
Yeah, potentially. It is kind of weird though, because then it then just goes into consideration, if Zynga are in a better position or just as good a position, then why sell in any way, shape, or form as well? So it's got to be mutually beneficial to both.
Somebody gets to retire them and their next 5 generations. That's why.
Yeah, I guess.
Because by the looks of it, they're still going to act independently, but they're just going to they can merge their portfolio of IP and stuff. And it's not like I guess it's not like the concern is unprecedented. Like I say, I'm not a business boy, but we have seen big publishers try to pivot to mobile to a fucking colossal failure before, and it just becomes a waste of everyone's time and money. So that, I guess that's kind of the fear. Who was it? It was Blizzard, wasn't it, with Diablo, like famously. You guys don't have phones.
Yeah.
And I think Skyrim tried to do the thing with Blades as well, didn't they? Which like nobody talks about now.
Yeah. I don't think that did too great.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Blades, yeah. I again, I don't think it was a complete failure. Like, I think Blades actually, some people say, is a really good game, but just in the scheme of things, it's just not what people want when they're used to publishers making games in a specific way for a specific platform.
Yeah.
If they're just like, the next Red Dead is going to be like a spin-off and we'd be working on it for mobile, people are going to be like, give us Red Dead 3, please. Like, they're not going to be like, it's like that Diablo situation. Exactly. People were expecting a Diablo 4 announcement. Instead, they got like fucking Diablo mobile. What happens if that happens for Red Dead or GTA? They just decide to spend a lot of time and money to make it mobile, which is halting the development for the actual next mainline game and stuff like that. People just, that's not what people want, really. So
And
it's weird. I don't know, but
yeah, and I guess they've got to be looking at, because I can't, like there are some franchises which have had a really big success with this, which isn't like surprising, but like your Call of Duty mobile, your Fortnite mobile, those are obviously just part of the ecosystem and they perform really well. And the thing is, pivoting to mobile is such low cost. Like that's the thing. So like, it's when I'm saying it's easy, quote unquote, obviously there's still technical like difficulties in doing all that, but like it's low cost presumably to develop for like to make a mobile game because it's smaller in term and across the board. With the idea to make it so that it earns a lot of revenue for a low cost, like it's very cost effective. But guess we'll see what happens. Guess we'll see Borderlands Mobile next. Yay!
Huge. Can't wait. Can't wait to play that while watching the Borderlands movie in theaters.
Tiny Tina's Tiny Borderlands on your tiny phone. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we haven't had any strict sales data about the Xbox or Halo yet, which still really is weird. Which still is really weird. Because I would have thought they would have taken the December period, the Christmas period, I've said this before, to have been like, Halo has, it doesn't even have to, even if Halo like didn't like blast expectations out the water in terms of like player count, all they have to say, or like, sales or however they're measuring it, they just have to say, 10 million people played Halo over its launch weekend on the brand new Xbox Series S. It's on Games Pass, get involved for like 250 quid, bang. That's like such a good message to have over the Christmas period. Parents impulse buy it for their kid, bang. That's like another 500,000 sales done at least. None of that's happened. So this has been really obscure. But some information has been like leaking out about this because Phil Spencer's done a couple of interviews recently, and also there's been some sort of data analysis guys on Twitter. What's his name? Daniel Z. Huge, I think. Z. Huge. So anyway, so the story is that first and foremost, Phil has said that the Xbox Series S and S, which they clumped together as one, has sold more than any Xbox console over the same period, which is obviously great. I remember hearing the same story about the Xbox One last gen, despite the fact that we all consider it a catastrophic failure. It still sold better than the Xbox 360 did. Whether this is a reflection of the Xbox One actually not selling as bad as we thought, or if it's a reflection of just the inflation of the industry and that more people were involved by the end of the 360 gen. Therefore, it was very easy to beat the 360 because there were just so many more people. There was so much more demand, more people involved in console gaming. So there's that, and Z Huge on Twitter, like I said, he's an industry analyst, has said that given what Phil has said, it would put the Series X and S over 12 million shipped, according to their estimates. Allegedly, the dual SKU strategy, so the Series S and the Series X, has really paid off for Microsoft amid the supply chain issues and the semiconductor shortage. Obviously, because the Series S uses different components, and therefore the supply essentially is doubled. When there's supply chain issues for one, they have two chains of supply to run through, whereas the PS5 doesn't have that privilege because it's just a digital and a non-digital, so it's the same components. So essentially the increased production of the Series S has allowed for more Xboxes on shelves than if they only had the X. So comparatively, the last sales figure for the PS5, which was, to be fair, October last year, was 13.4 million. So we could probably up that to maybe 14, maybe 14 and a half.
Yeah.
That's
reasonable.
Really shocking to me that the Xbox is at 12 and the PS5 is at about 14, maybe 15.
What shocking?
Like, shockingly
like
close.
It's that close, or shocking? Yeah.
I mean, what's your reaction to that?
I mean, I think it's shocking it's that close because let's be real, Xbox has been trailing behind for quite some time now, compared to PlayStation's. So I think this really shows that we are, essentially on a level playing field now in terms of hardware,
but why
IPs, all that sort of stuff.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I just feel like Xbox has just got their shit together in terms of studio acquisitions, first party games, all that sort of stuff. We're just drumming up a lot of hype. There's a lot more wind behind the sales of Microsoft and Xbox, I feel, over the last few years. Um, and I also think I think it'd be interesting to see the Xbox Series X like sales in comparison to the S. So like I always think the S will beat it regardless, just because of its price point. But it would just be interesting to know just how much of the percentage really is S to X comparison. Like, is it like 80-20? Like, just, the S is just getting so many sales because it's always on shelves, it's affordable, it's a banger. It's a banger of a console. Like, it is really good in terms of like power. Like, it's next gen,
Yeah.
right? At a pretty nice price point. Um, so I think it'd be really interesting to actually see the percentage split between that, because I do think it would be that drastic. I do genuinely think it would be like 80-20 or like 70-30, because the Series X is a premium console, right? It's very expensive, especially if people who are not that clued up, they're just going to be like, okay, well, like it's essentially like double the cost of an S, and they're going to be like looking at it and researching it little bits, like bit by bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like you say, the thing is, my expectation was always that Series X sales would be front loaded at the beginning of the gen. There wouldn't be that many Series S sales, and then as the gen went on, the Series S sales would pick up, because that's when the casual audience would start to kick in. Like the big games would kick in, like the sort of people who would buy
yeah,
a console to play, one massive release like Starfield, or one massive release, like the next Elder Scrolls. And they'd be like,
yeah,
oh, after a few price cuts, it's down at 150, or maybe with a bundle for an external SSD, 250 with Starfield. That's an easy buy, really. Halfway through. So my expectation was that the Series X would always sell more to begin with, but with the whole thing of like the semiconductor shortage and the supply chain issues at the moment, like maybe that's not the case. Like maybe there are people out there who would have settled, who would have rather got a Series X but have settled for a Series S as a result.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot of people that have done
And I
that.
think that's kind of something which is quite interesting about thinking about the PS5 sales as well. Like, are we going to get to a point where, like, let's say halfway through 2023, these issues start to wear off? Is there going to be like a sudden huge surge of PS5 purchases because there are people who have been like anticipating that, and they finally get their hands on it, and suddenly the PS5 jumps like 5 to 10 mil ahead? Or is it
Mm.
that like there genuinely is like fairly equal interest and demand for both of these consoles now?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to predict, isn't it? I'd like to think that there is going to be a bit of a jump in PlayStation once they fix their chip shortage and start getting them getting more on shelves. I do think they're going to have a jump. I don't think it's going to be insanely drastic and everyone just be like, "Ah, there it is. There's the gap we were expecting between Xbox and PlayStation." I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I do think we're going to see a lot of people with that. I think there are still a substantial amount of people that are click and refresh and site crawling and looking for PS5s. Um, but then you could also say the same thing about Series X, because Series X and S, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there, someone like me, if I can get my hands on a Series X, I don't think I would settle for a Series S, sorry. I'm the sort of person where I would just be like, I'll just stick with what I've got, and I want the premium console. So I do think there's a lot of people out there that are still waiting on stock for a Series X as well, and they just never shelled out for the S because they don't want to do that. Um, so I think there's going to be small jumps in both regards, to be honest. But it is quite interesting to see how close they really are.
Yeah.
But
But because it's,
yeah,
and like we really can't undersell like how crazy this is, and this is what confuses me about the whole thing, because like if there were that many people waiting on a PS5 purchase, I still don't see how these numbers would be this close, because like, so at the worst point in the Xbox One generation, maybe 2015 where there were like cancellations and like we hadn't had get like an exclusive game in ages, other than like fucking, I don't know, Recore or something that underperformed. And
Huge.
like this, it was like a 1-3. Like the sales figures were like 1-3, and it was after that point that Xbox just stopped sharing sales figures. So and that's so that would be like what the sales at the moment. It would be like 18,000 to like 9,000. Like it's a lot. It's a big difference. 6,000. Sorry, 6,000.
Yeah.
That's a 6 million. Fuck. So for the gap to be this tight now, it just like I don't. It's hard to figure out what is the thing that is having the biggest influence here. And obviously, Xbox has had a massive year. Like this has been so. Like it also makes me think like, were there a lot of PlayStation 4 owners who considered themselves Xbox gamers, like, who maybe had a 360 and had a lot of fond memories on the 360, but ultimately got a PS4 late in the gen because they were like, wow, PlayStation are killing it. And now that Xbox has had a year where it's bought Bethesda, it's bought like 7 studios, they've cleaned up at the Game Awards, they've had a successful Halo release, injected into like, the top tier of first-person shooters at the moment, that's exclusive. And that's just the tip of it, the tip of the iceberg. There's things like Hive Busters, Gears Tactics, Flight Simulator, Forza, all of the rest. And then there's obviously even like the PC side of things. We've got like Age of Empires over there as well. And that, that must be having some sort of success, I imagine. So is it a combined, thing of people being pulled in from all these different angles of like xCloud and PC? Is it just that Xbox has finally got their shit together in terms of software? It's just, I find it very surprising.
I think it's a combination of everything, and you got to mention every single thing you just mentioned is obtainable through one easy subscription.
Wow,
that's it.
What an ad!
You buy the console. You fucking get your wallet out. You fucking spend £8-9 or whatever it is, or £10 with Xbox Live. And that's just a reoccurring fee. Everything you just mentioned, you can just start downloading, playing, streaming, everything. And it's just it's I do think a lot of people, like you said, might have just come home to Xbox, and just been like,
finally,
it's that time. Yeah, exactly. And they're also thinking, they're just like, with the acquisition of Bethesda, they're just thinking in the future, and they're like, if I do want Elder Scrolls 6, and if I do want Fallout 5, and I do want, this is the console I need now. So like, I do think a lot of that has just, it's just jumped us up to almost an equal playing field. I mean, it's surprising to see it and to see the figures and just be like, wow, we really are that close. But then when you do think about it and you do break it down, just as we have in the last like 5 minutes, you can kind of see why. Like you can, like, it does kind of make sense. But
yeah, you definitely like that. There has been a massive turnaround, and we've been, everyone has been talking about this for like the last 2 years, really, for Xbox. But I guess it's crazy to kind of see the results kicking in, especially when we aren't even really in it yet. Like this is the weird thing.
We haven't hit our full stride.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like, and like, PlayStation have like a lot lined up as well. But like, it's been said for a while now that once Xbox is firing on all cylinders, it's gonna be mental. It's gonna be mental. And like this year is obviously looking pretty good, but like fairly similar as last year. With a fairly light first half, but then a pretty packed end of the year with probably Redfall, Forza Motorsport, and Starfield. Tectonic release. And then 2023 onward is going to be straight up loony. I assume that they'll have a lot to show at this year's E3, and that's just going to get this ball spinning more. And so it makes me think, like, as well, I wonder, like you said about Games Pass, I had totally forgot, but like, are people kind of looking at that and going, gee whiz, like, are we finally at a point where the word of mouth is now that good that people are like, that is such good value, like I need that. And also, like, are there people who are waiting on a PS5, can't get it, and are like, fuck yeah, I'm just gonna buy a Series S. For now, I'm gonna buy a Series S. I'll get PS5 when it's available, but for now, I'm gonna get Series S for this cheap price, get Games Pass, like, because look, holy shit, Back 4 Blood, Outriders, Hitman, Mass Effect, like all of these like huge games are now on it, and I could literally Spelunky 2. I could subscribe for 6 months for like 50 quid and play all these games for the next 6 months, and who knows, maybe PS5 will be back in stock by then. So like, I've got to think that the series, like the way this is working, like maybe the Series S is poaching a couple of people who are
the Series X is like the booty.
Yeah, it really is
for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, it's wild. The figures do surprise me if they are accurate. Of course, there are no official numbers other than the PS5 figure from last October. But because it's perfectly possible that a lot since Halo has come out, that has been a massive spike in sales, and like we are just genuinely at this very close gap. But also, like you said, maybe it is the fact that maybe there is going to be a massive burst in PS5 sales, maybe early next year. Because we should as well think. Sorry, I was just saying that the software lineup of PS5 has really slowed down in the last like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, it has 100%. Yeah, there hasn't really been much going on their side of things in terms of software. But yeah, I mean, I think 100%. I think we're going to see some kind of jump. I don't think it's going to be drastic, like I said, where people just be like, okay, now we're back to reality. You know, Xbox is now the doormat again. I don't think it's going to be quite that. But I mean, with the release of Horizon, with the release of God of War coming up this year, all that sort of stuff, and then they're like, oh, we're no longer having a chip shortage, you're going to see a jump. I think like those are console sellers, regardless if people even already have a Series X. You know, if you're a gamer and you got income, those in itself are console sellers, like regardless. So like, you know, there's an element of me even just being like, I've got some money in my back pocket, fuck it, I'll buy a PS5 for
but they're all cross-gen.
Ragnarok.
Maybe they don't need to buy a PS5. What, you know, maybe 2023 rolls around. They're not waiting any longer. I want to play Horizon. I want to play God of War. I'm just going to play it on my PS4. I'll play it at 30 frames. PS5 rolls around. I've already played the big hitters. Oh, look what Xbox has got. They've got Perfect Dark. They've got Avowed. They've got Coalition's next game. I'm drawing blanks. You know, like all of this stuff. Like, and it's like, well, I've already played what I want to play for the PS5 for this. Like,
that's true. We are snobby, to be fair. Like we're definitely the sort of gamer that's just like, let's just wait till it's on at 60 or on the platform we want, and you know, I want to play it on the PS5. We're quite snobby like that. But there are a lot of people that just it's too impulse. They're just like, I have to play it. Like I have to play it. I've seen people going crazy about it on Reddit. I've seen news. I just need to play it. I don't care if it's at 30 or at 60. So yeah, I do think a lot of people would just cave and play it on a Pro or something like that. Which I think is ultimately, you know, I think that in itself is kind of harming PlayStation, I guess, and their next gen console sales. Whereas it kind of wouldn't if they just made it next gen exclusive, like they said they were going to.
Yeah, and they have a precedent of releasing all of these games on PC now. Even if it's 6 months down the line, you know, we know it's going to happen. God of War just came out on PC, the first one, so it might be a few years down the line. But either way, you know, it wouldn't be a big deal if they had this kind of family of systems approach like Xbox does, but they don't. They have one console or a late release on PC, and because people can't access the PS5 version, it wouldn't surprise me if people are just going to be drawing a line and being like, I'm going to play this last gen, or I'm going to play it on PC when it comes out eventually. You know, I don't really need the PS5. You know, it's not worth this headache to be like, you know,
especially as it run better on PC as well. God of War would be like 140 frames, 120 frames on PC.
I think
like ultra high graphics.
Yeah, and I think the takeaway point for a lot of this, as the software comes out for the PlayStation this year, is that they're losing out on hype sales. Whereas the Xbox Series S has a perfect counterpunch to that with the Series S. It's an impulse buy territory. You know, it's below £300 or $300. You know, it's about $300 in US.
Yeah, exactly.
And even funnier, like the follow-up bit of news to this, because speaking of the whole cross-gen, next-gen only thing, is that Sony, and here's the headline from Bloomberg, Sony is dealing with PlayStation 5 shortages by making more PS4s. this is so weird because the Xbox,
Absolutely
Microsoft's
is.
very silently, should I say, stopped producing Xbox Ones like last year. They didn't say anything; it
Yeah.
just stopped happening. Because they have a Series S, so that's the low entry point. I think they've stopped making One X's as well, so that's not really happening anymore. And if this doesn't send off alarm bells of how much the shortage is making them sweat, I don't know what will.
Yeah. It just kind of shows that we're ready. Microsoft are ready, and Xbox are ready, and have made that transition. And PlayStation are just, like you said, they're sweating, and they're just like, oh my god, we can't get PS5s out. Like, but people are going to want to play God of War and Horizon, and it's almost like they're predicting exactly what you said. People are just going to play them on the PS4 Pro. So fuck it, let's make some PS4s. At the end of the day, we need to sell this software, right? If we can't sell it on the PS5, we've got to sell it on something.
Exactly.
And they're kind of just like they're like lowballing it in the wrong way.
Well, and it's like you said, like how you just described it. It's not an issue. Like it makes total sense. And I don't think anybody could have predicted these supply chain issues. I don't actually know if it's a COVID thing or if it's like on the tech side. I actually don't know. But nonetheless, the dual strategy, the reason I imagine part of the reason they did that is so that there's it's accessible, and part of what falls under that umbrella is supply chain issues. Things are more accessible. So luckily it has worked out, and I think they must be thinking every day that we can't meet demand with PS5s, we're losing sales to Xbox. Like, because it's happening, it must be happening. And it also wouldn't be an issue if they hadn't done the whole fucking thing with cross-gen, and they hadn't said the whole thing about we believe in generations, because now it's just a bad look. Considering for the next year, all of PlayStation's big hitters, Horizon and God of War, and there's probably something else I'm forgetting, all cross-gen. The games that we know of for Xbox are all next-gen exclusive this year. Redfall, next-gen only. If Forza Motorsport gets announced, we know that's next-gen only. And Starfield is next-gen only.
Stalker 2, next-gen only.
Yeah, exactly. So if this, if we get to May, and we're continuing to see these headlines, and that people are buying these games on the PS4, they're going to have a lot of success with the sales, but people might not be buying PS5s. Whereas the narrative is suddenly going to turn around and be like, Xbox is actually look how good Starfield look. Look how expansive that is. Look at Redfall and how well that performs. Look at Forza Motorsport, unbelievable. The narrative is suddenly going to turn and be like, if you want next gen games, you need to play on Xbox, because God of War looks amazing, but it's being held back a bit, because that was the narrative before. So it better be consistent, same energy, So we'll see. But that's the thing. When all of this messaging sort of culminates together, it becomes a very bad look. Obviously, it makes sense strategically, but it's just a bad look.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's the wrong move. I think it's their only move right now. But like you said, just based on, they've made their bed. They've got to sleep in it, right? They've dug a hole, and it's kind of the only direction they can go in, and it is a bad look. But
you've made your cake, and now you have to sleep in it.
Made your cake.
You made your bed, and now you've got to eat it.
I love sleeping in cake.
It's one of my favourite pastimes.
It's the best night's sleep I've ever had.
Woo! Okay, so that's the sales argument. I'm excited to see how that kind of all unfolds, because it's really, really surprising for me that those kind of sales figures.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got some Halo updates. Thank the Lord.
Finally.
Thank the Lord. They're back from holiday. They're feeling refreshed, and they're on it. So the first update we have is essentially that the Big Team Battle hotfix is cleared test and is now going through Xbox certification. Barring any issues, they're targeting middle of next week to release. So if you're listening to this late, that would be the 19th. 19th would be Wednesday. So hopefully as soon as possible, because my God, I need this to be fixed. I'm worried that we won't even be able to get people back on it. I'm worried that we won't be able to, if somebody suggests BTB, that people are going to start shaking their heads, because it's been so long. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, because we all had so much fun playing it before. But
Yeah. But yeah, it's hurt them a lot because it's just taken the wind out of the sails for a lot of Halo fans. You know, I know for a fact that my playtime has dropped significantly on Halo Infinite. I still hop on it every now and again, but you know, it's a combination of I absolutely smashed it and I put so much game time into this game already, and you know, then this broke and I've basically just been playing the same thing on the same maps for so long. Completed the battle pass. You know, if there's not an event running, it's just, yeah, it's kind of dipping, and I'm sure it's doing that for a lot of people as well. So I hope it doesn't, but I can definitely still see people just being like, you know, nah, I'm actually good. You know, I spent so much time not playing BTB and burning myself out on the same game modes and same maps. I've still completed the battle pass, and now I'm just
Yeah.
done for now,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, that's all. I'm just hoping that it hasn't come too late and that people would still be interested in going, like getting a party, like if 6, 7, 8 together would be interested in queuing this because it, you know, it worked. I don't know what the fuck they did. Like someone spilt their coffee on the server or something because it worked flawlessly before.
Oh
Like it was
god.
absolutely flawless. Like the only thing was like, you know, the squad thing was a bit annoying, but you know, it wasn't the end of the world. Where you like wouldn't be in the
Yeah.
same squad as the people you queued with. But you know, if they, I really hope they land this update right because this could like be a big like positive news story because they're looking to add the new event on Tuesday, which will come with, by the looks of it, 2 game modes from what I can see in the files and the people I follow on Twitter, which would be Attrition, which I believe is like the 1 life game mode with revives, and King of the Hill as well.
I thought that was elimination,
You might be right, actually.
not
I can't
attrition.
remember. Oh, maybe it is an elimination. Either way, I think those are the two. Those are the 2 game modes that are coming. So maybe it's not elimination for this week in the cyber. And they did like a little trailer for the Cyber Ops event, which has some really cool stuff in the event pass. It has got like some helmet effects. It looks,
That's
you know, it
great.
looks good. It looks good, and obviously there'll be stuff in the store on Tuesday. They're also, you know, Jerry Hook, who's I believe the lead designer for the multiplayer, has also said on Twitter that there are shop changes coming. So, to quote, starting Tuesday, the shop experience will vary week to week. We are focused on reducing pricing across the board, providing stronger value in our bundles, starting to put more individual items outside of bundles and more. We will be trying new things throughout the rest of the season so that we can continue to learn and improve for the future. Please keep the feedback coming during the process, and I hope to see you all next week for the Cyber Showdown event. Cyber Showdown, not Cyber Ops. So
Great.
great, yeah. And there was an additional comment, like someone had commented on that, and I haven't got a picture here, but someone had said like, oh, you know, you wouldn't have this problem if you just had like a currency system, and and Jerry responded saying, I think we need to do both, sort of implying that there needs to be a shop system that obviously helps them get money, and maybe some sort of currency system where stuff can be bought. I don't know. We don't know. Like, obviously, that's literally all he said. So maybe, you know, it's what we've spoken about before and sort of giving currency back to the players in the battle pass, or if it's like a literal credit system from Reach. I've got to imagine it's the former rather than the latter.
Yeah.
But this, obviously, all of this combined together could result in a really nice week for Halo. BTB finally fixed. They've spoken about a roadmap as well, potentially even a roadmap shared for like the future. New couple of new game modes, a really nice event tracker to get some new stuff. Yeah,
I'd come back. I mean, it's not like a god. Like, I still play it. Like, I don't want to give that impression. I still play it, but like, you know, I'd be excited for this, and I definitely hop on far more consistently. So yeah, it's 100% needed. It's all positive news. Obviously, you can look at anything a bit negatively. I know when Deck told me about this, the first thing I said was, "Well, great. Now people are going to be getting, you know, the same items I've already bought later down the line. You know, maybe cheaper. I technically just spent more money because I couldn't keep it in my pants." And like, it is a bit annoying, but like, because if I do, like, I bought like that samurai, like the petal effect for like death and spawning in and running around. It's like, if I see that come back at like
half the price.
five
Yeah,
six quid, yeah, half the price that I paid for it, I am just gonna be like, Well, I just got fucked, didn't I? Like I literally just lost out on money. Like this, people are buying the exact same thing I've got for less, and I can't help but be like that does sting a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
bit. Like that is a bit
Yeah.
annoying. But then on the second hand, I bought it full well knowing the price right now before they would even reduce the cost, and I was quite happy to give them that money regardless. It's a good game, like so.
Yeah.
I'm not completely sold
And
about it. I'm not a Reddit warrior that's raging.
and let's be fair, we've spoken about it millions of times on the show before. Those prices are not out of the range of other free to play
No,
games at all. They're about the same.
no.
So it's not like it was weird to make any of those purchases before. And we spoke about, I think we spoke about this at the time, didn't we? Like that maybe the items that they've sold up to this point will just be locked out of rotation now. So that the
Yeah.
people who own them for that price will always own them, or you know, yeah. And I guess because they're like the other parallels of if you go into a shop and then like buy a TV and you come back in 2 months' time and the TV's on like a 50% discount, sucks, but that's just like kind of how it works.
Yeah, exactly. That is just retail at the end of the
Exactly.
day.
So
Yeah.
like I said, overall good news, and the team will be handing out, I think 5 XP boosts and 5 challenge swaps to everyone to sort of commiserate it. Whatever.
Huge.
Hopefully, I really what I would like to see on the roadmap, if anything, is that a confirmation that XP is being retroactively counted. I'm pretty certain it will be, because for a lot of people like us, XP boosts are now useless. And also, I'd like to understand why. I still don't understand why this season was made 6 months long. Like I said, we'd be looking at one more month at this point until a new season starts, and I'd be like getting interested in like what's coming in the new season, what's the new battle pass going to be like. But we don't have that, so like, is there going to be a battle pass extension?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening with this XP? So
The fact that this season is going on for another 4 months is kind of insane. I'm feeling relatively burnt out, not even at the halfway point, which just goes to show that they were right in the sense that seasons should be 3 months long, and they have made season 3 months long, but for whatever reason they decided to double this one for the first one.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that 3 months is the correct amount of time for a season, because 6 is kind of
Well, I mean,
excruciating.
I think 6 would be okay if they had the pass that supported that amount of time. If the battle pass was 200 levels long, that'd probably be fine. But it's not. It feels like it was designed for 3 months.
Yeah,
and
which it was.
Right. So
yeah,
that's hopefully it'll be a good week for Halo. I think they need a bit of a W, and it'd be nice to have a bit of an injection in terms of game modes. And like the event tracker looks sick. I don't know if anybody's seen it. There's like really nice like black and pink skins, and the the armor effects that come part of it are really nice. So that'll be nice, and obviously BTB working will be really nice too. So hopefully we get that roadmap soon, because I'm really interested to see, as I say, the justification for this season being 6 months long rather than 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Quick moment of silence. Everybody slap the F key on your keyboard. Halo 3 360 servers have been shut down. I know there are people out there who felt this was part of their childhood and part of their soul, and for you, I share my condolences. Thankfully, we can live on through Master Chief Collection, and I think we need to remember that having that is a privilege. This didn't have to be remade. This could have been sold back to you with 3 separate remakes. You don't. You have it pretty much. And everybody, I know MCC had its problems, but everybody kind of loves it as a package now and how it's handled. So let's not be too sad. Let's be happy and be thankful for what what's there.
Exactly. Well said.
Thanks, buddy.
Deck.
Respects paid. Okay. We're moving into... No, we're not. No, I want to talk about this afterwards. Yeah, that's fine. Shut up. So, first and foremost, so this is crazy. This week it was announced... I don't even know if you saw this. It was announced that Hitman 3, the whole trilogy, is going to be coming to Games Pass on the 20th.
I did see something about it, yeah, and it caught my eye, and I was going to message you about it, and I forgot. But yeah, it's cool, man. This game I heard is really
I've
cool.
had my eye on Hitman 3 for a while, so this is perfect timing for me. And I, having just completed Outer Wilds now, I'm kind of like looking to have something I can play on the side and like a
Mm.
sandbox, like because I think it just wasn't. It just missed the Game of the Year conversation in the TGAs, but from loads of other like websites or podcasts I listen to. Hitman 3 was in that conversation for a lot of people. And obviously there's a bit of recency bias because it came out at the very beginning of 2021. So everybody had kind of forgotten about it, but
Yeah,
it reviewed so well. It's I'm kind of into this. I'm going to be playing this. I would I have
yeah.
bought it? Oh, I don't know, but this is just perfect timing for me for this sort of thing. So this is a mental Games Pass month, man, like crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they're really coming into 2022 strong. Yeah, Games Pass is hitting on all cylinders at the
Yeah, it
moment.
really is, and I think this is what they're kind of going to do. This is what they did last year. They patch the holes in their first party library with just Games Pass stuff, like big Games Pass. Maybe not
Hmm.
necessarily day one stuff. Some of it is, some of it isn't. But like like just putting Mass Effect trilogy, Hitman trilogy. Those are really big things. So
Yeah,
that works well for me.
yeah,
I think they've done a really good job at making Games Pass announcements exciting because there's usually something big per month that is that is exciting. So yeah, crazy.
yeah. This is hype. Yeah, it is really cool.
Excellent. Okay, now we'll go to it. Delays. Couple of delays. One real delay, one delay rumor. Uh, the first
Okay.
being Stalker 2. Uh, it was obviously meant to come out in April, so this is a very quite late delay, and it's been pushed back right to the end of the year, December the 8th. Which I mean has surprised me, frankly, because we haven't heard that much about it. We saw the gameplay walkthrough and it all looked quite good, but I guess it was just a vertical slice kind of situation.
Yeah, E3 trailer alert.
Right. So, nonetheless, game needs time, give it time, no problem. See last video.
They have the way they described it was basically like it's just a polishing period. It's just a testing and polishing period. They probably could release it in April, but they don't want to. Like it's like they're basically saying, we're taking a lot of pride in this. We really want to make it and release it exactly how we want. It's a passion project for us. So I think it's a respectful delay. You know, so and it's still this year.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and there's plenty of other stuff coming out too. At the beginning, the first half of this year, it's not too much of a punch to the gut for me.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I'm sure it's going to result in a better experience. So
Yeah. I think the only problem they're going to find themselves in is that the beginning of this year was really empty. But the end of the year is very packed, especially on Xbox. They're going to be contending with really Starfield, which comes out 3 weeks before that. So, I'm sure Starfield is like there are some people who won't appeal to, but nonetheless, I think that's the real loss here is that they've moved it from a quiet period to a busy period.
yeah, I agree. I mean, they are very different types of games as
Yeah,
well. This is a single player narrative, first person shooter sort of thing, uh, where Starfield is kind of like an RPG, right? It's a big explory game, and it's they're very different settings, they're different genres. So, but yeah, regardless, it's still competing.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. And then the other delay is and this is completely rumored at the moment. A couple of podcast boys, so the Xbox podcast boys over at Defining Duke and also over at the Xbox Two, Redfall has been mentioned that there has been some very unsubstantiated rumors from sources about Redfall possibly getting delayed. And again, I think this would be a shame for exactly the same reason. By the sounds of it, it's still going to be coming this year, but it worries me because they won't want that space to be so cramped, especially with arcane games, which I mean, we'll have to see because they haven't launched a game into Games Pass yet. I guess we'll see when Deathloop comes out. Maybe that'll give them more data to go by. Uh, it would
mm.
suck if Redfall got pushed from like summer, let's say a June release, to like again, like a mid-November release. Like cramming Starfield and Redfall together would just
Yeah,
like break my heart because, like, god damn it, Arcane games like need to have like more commercial success. And I think if there's any game which is going to have more commercial success, it's Redfall. You know, it's in that genre, which is like, you know, 4-player co-op, Left 4 Dead kind of immersive simmy, open worldy, looter elements. You know, it's got more broad appeal.
yeah, for sure. It's I think, like you said, I think it would hurt if they delayed it to a November December release. I think they could probably get away with having like an October release, just on the fact of what the game is, right? You know, like they could kind of market it in that sort of sense, not as a horror game, but it's vampires, it's dark, it's all that sort of thing. You could release that in October. That would give them a few extra months to polish things up and sort it, and then you're not competing and just having this November December rush and everything releasing at the same time. I think, you know, if I were to guess, that's probably what they're going to try and aim for. Is around that sort of time period, giving them a bit extra breathing room, but not cucking themselves in competing with so much other stuff. That's what my gut feeling would go with. But it'd be a shame to just see this lost to the masses and drowned out by other bigger titles taking the spotlight, because that happens a lot with Arcane, like you said. And yeah,
Yeah,
it would be a shame.
especially as it's such a question mark at the moment. You know, we obviously had some of those like alleged screenshots of like the early build and testing phases. You know, it's still a bit of a screenshot of like how it plays and like what it really kind of is, and you know, not seeing that for
Yeah.
longer is like, you know, I'm chomping at the bit. I want to know. You know, I want to know what it means. What does it mean other than vampires
Yeah.
and quippy protagonists? What does that? What does it mean?
Yeah. It's definitely one game I have my eye on as one of my most excited for the year, because it's a perfect game for us. Like it's like one of my favorite
Yeah.
genres, this sort of game. So it's very, very exciting for us, and I'm just keen to see more. You know, regardless if it releases this year or late this year, I'm at this point I'm just keen to see more. Like you said, just to see what we're dealing with. I can have an idea of what it would look like, but I just want it to be
Yeah,
confirmed.
absolutely. And you know, I think a delay would then put it in the E3 wheelhouse as well of like small gameplay reveal for Redfall, um, which you know I think Xbox probably already have a lot to show, but I guess it doesn't hurt to have more options, I suppose, of like what they want to pick and choose to put in there. And
Yeah.
you know, and I think we should probably. I don't think Xbox is scared to release stuff stacked together. I think it. I think it's like when we're doing podcasts and we're talking about stuff like this. You know, we want stuff to be spaced out so we can kind of enjoy the zeitgeist of it releasing all of these games, so they get all that,
Yeah.
you know, so they get their flowers kind of thing. But you know, realistically, if Redfall releases in November with Starfield or like a couple of weeks before, people will play Starfield, then they move off it, come back to January, and then they pick up Redfall afterwards because it's in Games Pass. Like, you know, Forza Horizon
Mhm.
5 and Halo released 3 weeks apart.
Yeah.
But they, you know, or was it even less than that because they did the beta? They did the, I think it was even less. It was like a week, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was yeah, it was like a week. Yeah. It was literally like a
Right.
week or
And
two.
we all saw the numbers that Forza hit. You know, I'm sure there was a big player migration over to Halo, but I hardly think that Forza
Yeah. It's
is going
not
to be
permanent
struggling. Yeah,
migration.
exactly.
They're they're dipping in and out of different games, right? They're playing a bit of Halo, playing a bit of Forza. It's not like Forza, everyone just dropped off and played only Halo, and Forza was uninstalled from people's consoles.
Exactly.
Like, um, yeah,
So yeah, I think as much as we don't want that to happen, it ultimately wouldn't kill the game. It would maybe, you know, knock the commercial success a little bit, but you know, I would still play it regardless. But yeah, I think the overall point is that yeah, I don't think that Xbox is scared to release games kind of close, especially with Games Pass. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
hopefully it's wrong. Hopefully these rumors are wrong and they're being told and fed filthy little lies, and it will come out like, you know,
Yeah,
early summer. That would be ideal. Yeah,
I just hope it's this year as well,
yeah,
because I feel like if it does release in 2023, it really is
it's
going
really
to
gonna get
struggle
buried.
for like its time in the spotlight. So like, I just keep it this year, please. Like, fine, release it in December, November, whatever. Just try and keep it in 2022 if you
Yeah.
can.
They could even do Arcane Celebration Month, you know, when Deathloop comes to Xbox. I think that is October as well. Was that August? I think it was October. So they could even have Deathloop at the beginning of the month, Redfall at the end of the month. You know, here you go, Xbox players. Here's Deathloop, the commercially, you know, critically acclaimed, you know, game of the year winning, award-winning game. Play that. Wow, you thought that was good. Here's their new game, exclusive to your brand new shiny console, exclusive to Xbox. Give it a go.
And also, by the way, we own this this developer.
Yeah, exactly. They're ours now.
So
we ingested them.
Yeah, delicious.
I think they'd probably be one of the best tasting devs, actually. Should put it out there.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it.
I think they'd be quite like a fine.
I could see
like
it.
Steak.
It's like one of those. Yeah, it's like one of those hidden restaurants that not many
it's
people
like in a
know
garage.
About. And then you're like, yeah, that's like a gem. It's like a hidden gem. Like, guys, you had Arcane. Yeah, so good. So good. Yeah, I recommend it. You guys come down.
Try the marbled steak.
We'll go to Arcane.
Very tasty.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing for this week then is a very, very interesting bit of work done by Jez Corden over at Windows Central. Thank you, Pappy. He asked. He took a bit of a poll on Twitter and asked what people want to see Xbox most improve on. And listening to the podcast, it sounds like you filtered this all into like an Excel spreadsheet, which is like, you know, that must have taken a long time. And it got about 1,000 results. So, you know, obviously not massive, but, you know, good enough to go by for now. I also contributed. And I said that what I want to see really, I feel like they've fixed a lot of my problems. What I want to see is better systems integrated into the dashboard. I know it sounds really weird, but I came across DVR, but also like OS things as well, because I don't think it's bad the Xbox OS, but one thing I noticed the other week, like I used to go through the activity feed, when I boot up my console and I was just sipping on my coffee or whatever before I started playing anything, I just whip over it and just see what everyone was doing. Oh, look at this funny clip. And I can't. That's just gone. Where is that? Where are these social features?
It's buried.
Yeah. I just feel like the Xbox used to be really good with these social features. What happened to avatars? They got remade. Why? You know, I would not mind a total OS overhaul or at least a revamp that made these social features more prominent. You know, maybe do something with achievements and clips, just to make it a bit more integrated. Yeah, that was my input. Because I can see that the category here is for Xbox OS problems. So I guess what I said maybe falls into that. But, you know, it's not necessarily problems with the OS. It's just that I'd like to see it do more on the social side of things.
I couldn't agree more. I used to flick through the activity section quite a lot as well. And it was just quite interesting to see a culmination of gamer score as well and stuff like that. To just be like, oh wow, someone's playing loads of games and blitzing out their gamer score this month and stuff like that. And you know, you could go through the activity feed and see that I got an achievement on Sekiro, and you could be like, oh, he's booted up Sekiro as well, on the lead up to Elden Ring. But it's you didn't know that. You didn't know I was playing Sekiro until I mentioned it and stuff like that, because all this stuff is kind of buried a little bit now. So, I mean, out of all the categories I can see here, I think I would probably pick that as well. I'd probably pick Xbox OS problems, just to sort of streamline all of that. I don't know what people mean about what does game DVR problems mean. What's everyone's issue with the game DVR?
So, it's it takes ages to upload. There's no good editing tools. It's really tricky to share straight to Twitter or YouTube, whereas PlayStation has really good options for that.
It's easy to do from the app.
That's what I thought as well. But a lot of people said that doesn't work for them or something. So I never have that. Yeah,
really? This worked every time.
Right? I find it fairly straightforward. I clip it, it'll appear on my app in a bit, and I can download it and do whatever I want from there. But I mean, I wouldn't mind some work on the DVR, and I think it has been confirmed by the tech team that they're doing some work this year on the DVR. I think there's definitely more that they could do there, so it's not a bad thing. But obviously, it being the biggest percent there kind of surprises me.
It's a
Yeah,
shock to me. Yeah, it's definitely a shock to me to see it like right up there. And even just like achievement system improvements and stuff like that. I feel like the achievement system's great in Xbox. I feel like you can easily, like, whenever you're on a game, it's just a quick button press to see all the achievements. You can filter by locked, unlocked. You can filter by how difficult they are, percentage. You can even do achievement trackers for it to pop up and show you which ones you're close to.
I,
Like, why is that such a high percentage? I feel like it's
I
fine.
think I can't remember. I think PlayStation did something recently with their trophies, which made everyone be like, you know, why doesn't Xbox have this? I really can't remember what it was. Maybe it's their game cards thing, and you can like hop to like particular parts in a mission to like get the achievement. But that's not supported for like, it's like supported for just a
Okay.
handful of games. Like it's not support. Like from what I hear, it's like really inconsistent and actually not that good. But on the games it does work, it's pretty cool. I don't even think that's the feature that it is. But for example, things like platinums. Is it platinums? You know, like 100%ing. Like Xbox doesn't have anything for that,
Yeah,
which is kind of weird. Like you don't get anything
true.
for, whereas so yeah, I would like to see them do more.
True.
It's not that I have necessarily anything in mind. I would like to see like the 100% completion have some sort of something, uh, but I would
Yeah,
like to see them
yeah,
like innovate in that space. Again, it's kind of like these social features. I think of achievements as social features that like why isn't this why has this been stagnant for like 15 years now? I know we had like rare achievements and like there's like a couple that like a thing here and there, and it's just like this could like there's still I think there's something that can be done here. Like there's still work to be done.
yeah, yeah. I think we can all agree the whole diamond achievement thing is really
Yeah,
cool. Um, but yeah, actually, I do kind of agree. I guess if you 100% a game, the only way to actually check is you just see the achievements 50 out of 50. That's kind of it. It would be kind of cool if it was like, I don't know, when you're just checking someone's profile, obviously you can see them like in a list. It's all like rectangles. Maybe that rectangle's like got like a gold border around it, or it's got like a crown next to it. It just shows like right off the bat, this person's fucking played the shit out of this game. They love it, and they've 100%ed it. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of cool. I think we can boil it down to a lot of what me and you want are just kind of mainly social
yeah,
features, right? Um, and it is kind of like you can do things like I've pinned you like to my dashboard, so like as a friend, but then I do still have to go like
yeah.
way down and just click on you, and then just like it's not it's not really, it's just weird. I don't know.
It's
It
just
doesn't
such a
really
limp
work.
system. Like to me, that's like let's tack on some stuff to like the current OS, like patchwork while we figure out what to do. Because like I would literally just like want a Twitter wall or a Facebook feed. Like just give me that and let me pick which
Yeah,
friends I want to show up in that. Like boom, done. Tim started
yeah,
playing Sekiro. Oh, someone else started playing Halo Infinite this week. Just like give me small updates like for what they're doing. If they played for 2 hours today, that's the longest they've ever played this game for. Just silly shit like that. So that actually
yeah,
feels like I can see what my friends are up to rather than actually asking them. And then the
yeah,
fact that you can work in DVR, work in achievements, to all of that as well. I feel like that's like really just stagnated and could really do with some love, some TLC.
yeah. I would agree with that.
So, I mean, I suppose just to walk as the listener, just to walk you through what these categories are and what the percent we're looking at a pie chart, what the percentages are here. We've got game DVR problems at 17%. We've got Xbox OS problems at 16%. We've got Japanese game support at 14%. First party games improvements at 12%. Achievement system improvements 11%. Other 6%, localization issues 6%, family pass for Xbox Games Pass 5%, Xbox app problems 4%, Xbox accessories problems 4%, crossplay problems 2%, and Xbox Series S backward compatibility quality 2%, and then there's very two little ones at the end here: VR 2% and marketing complaints 2%. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised first
Mm.
party games improvements is still holding such a large percentage considering. I mean, like, do they just mean now? Like, they just want like all of them now, or like because I
Yeah. All those wicked games you guys have lined up, can we just get them like
yeah
all at once?
like
That'd be great.
I guess. But I guess maybe if you were to ask this question this time last year, that percentage would have maybe been up, up at like 20 or 25%. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I don't really see much more what we could do with first party. I mean, we got some bangers lined up, and they're all releasing day one into a subscription service that's kind of cheap as chips.
yeah,
So, like, personally, I don't know why that's so high. I think it's kind of odd, and it'd be interesting to see the people who did vote that, just what they're actually thinking and what they had in mind.
yeah.
But
It's kind of like, did y'all not play
yeah,
Forza or Halo or Age of Empires or Fight Sim or or Psychonauts 2? I mean, you probably didn't play Deathloop, but like
yeah,
these, you
just
didn't say exclusive games. You said first party games improved for the so
yeah,
and obviously Japanese game support is there in a big representation as well. It's like the third highest. Personally, for me, I don't care so much about that. I can see that there's some efforts being made and there's some games that are coming over, but I would like to see Persona come over because I would like to play that just because of how critically acclaimed it is. So, you know,
mm,
there is a bit of me that would like to see that support improved, and I acknowledge that there is that there is part of the fan base that wants that. So, but it's still, I think that's higher than I thought it would be. But I've got to imagine again that this is
mm,
like the sample size of this like is over reporting, or like that category is overrepresented by hardcore Xbox Twitter users. I reckon not that many people actually,
yeah,
like the wider audience, actually care. But yeah,
mm,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
for
well,
sure.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting.
Did you have anything else? Any other sort of reflections on that sort of feedback chart, or are we done there?
No, not really. Yeah, I mean everything else, yeah, kind of makes sense to me, and all the percentages. And yeah, if I were to take a vote, I would probably have gone for Xbox OS problems and stuff like that, improving in that regard.
Yeah,
So, no, nothing really more to say on in that
yeah.
area.
It's a good bit of work. It's a nice thing to look at. It's a nice thing. It's nice to get an idea of how the community's feeling. Even if it is, as I say, a sort of small sample. So good work, Jez. You fucking killed it.
You're a
Yeah.
ledge.
All right. Well, I mean that's everything. That's everything for today. There was a lot to talk about there. This has been fun. We should do this again sometime. We will.
We
Yeah,
should maybe
maybe
next
next
week.
week. Actually, now that you mention it, maybe next week.
Maybe next week on a Sunday with episodes being uploaded on a Monday. Subscribe and share to your friends.
subscribe to your friends. Yeah,
Just off the
yeah.
top of my head. You say subscribe shit? Oh wait, no, you didn't say
Subscribe
that.
to our
I
friends.
thought you said subscribe. Subscribe to your friends. Subscribe to our friends. Subscribe to our religion that we're
Yes,
starting up.
yes, yes. We'll be making a cult shortly, so be sure to subscribe to that and hit the notification